Hola chicos, today we're going to look at el pluscuamperfecto. Fancy word, sounds scary, but really this verb tense is a lot easier than it sounds. In English we call it the pluperfect. You might not have even known that it existed in English either. But the pluperfect is to say what you had done already or what you had done previous to another past action. So if you look at the word plus, perfecto is perfect. Perfect in grammar, remember, means completed. It's plus perfect. It's more than completed. So this happened further in the past than something else. For example, if we think about the Mexican legend we're reading right now, Diego met a Mayan princess because he had come to Mexico to fight for Spain. So him meeting or him coming to Mexico happened further in the past than him meeting the Mayan princess. The formation of the pluperfect, of the pluscuamperfecto, has got two parts to it. So it's a compound verb tense. It's got two parts. The first part is the helping verb haber, which might look kind of foreign to you, but you've been using a form of it ever since Español Uno, the word hay, there is or there are. So haber, the helping verb, in the imperfect, that's going to represent the had, and then the past participle of the verb. Past participles in English sound like seen, spoken, ran. So haber, chicos, in the imperfect looks like this. Había, because we took off the ER and we're adding the imperfect endings. Habías. Había. So I had, you had, he or she had. Notice that these two are the same. So you'll probably hear people, if it's not clear, put in a yo or an él or an ella in front of the había to make sure that people know who they're referring to. We had, habíamos. In Spain, you guys had, habíais. Y habían. You guys had or they had. So this is the first part. It won't stand alone. It's got to go along with the past participle. So the past participle, chicos, is when you take the infinitive, like hablar, and you take off the AR, that leaves you with the verb stem. For AR verbs, you're going to add ado. So hablado would be spoken or talked. Now remember, that's not going to stand alone on its own. It's got to go with a form of haber. So if I say, habíamos hablado, this would be, we had spoken, we had talked. Hablado will not become hablados because there's more than one person. It will stay hablado. The part that will change to reflect who is doing the action is the form of haber. Now if we're taking ER verb, comer, so for something like, she invited me to go with her, but I didn't because I had already eaten. The had part of it is the había. Comer, we're going to take the infinitive and take off the ER. And we're going to add ido. So there's the eaten. The had, like I already mentioned, is había. I had eaten, había comido. Whether it's a guy or a girl, it'll end with comido. And then an IR verb, vivir. They didn't know that I had lived in Montana for 6 years. So had lived, the lived part, we take off the IR, add ido. And you've got había vivido, for I had lived. If we go down to the examples, I'm actually going to go to the second one first because that is a regular verb. They went to talk with Aguanga, remember that's Atsimba's grandpa, the king of the tribe, because they had fallen in love. So them falling in love happened further in the past than them going to talk with him. So they went to talk with Aguanga. Ellos fueron para hablar con Aguanga porque, here's our pluperfect, they had fallen in love. So let's take the verb enamorarse, and we're going to do this in steps. Let's not worry about the se right now. And let's first just figure out how we're going to say had. If it's they had done it, we want habían. Now, enamorar, to make the fallen in love, the had fallen, the fallen part, take off the AR, add ado, doesn't matter that they're two people, habían enamorado. Now I said we were going to deal with this, with the reflexive pronoun in a minute. So they had done it, we're going to want se. And habían enamorado, even though it has two parts, is still a conjugated verb. So you will put the se in front of the conjugated verb. Ellos fueron para hablar con Aguanga porque se habían enamorado. She had never seen him before that. The first example, she had never seen, is the pluperfect. Ella, nunca for the never, and we have the verb ver. So let's first though worry about our had. Ella nunca había. Ver is an irregular past participle. You cannot simply take off the ER and add IDO and say había visto. It doesn't work. Instead, and you'll copy down the irregulars in just a moment, visto. Ella nunca había visto antes de esto, or de eso, if it's that. Now, the him part, him after a verb is lo, and the verb is conjugated, so I'm going to put the pronoun in front of the conjugated verb. Ella nunca lo había visto antes de eso. Chicos, here are the irregular past participles. For these verbs, you can't just say abrido, decido. They have irregular past participles, and they sound like this. Abierto, opened. So I didn't realize they had opened the window. Habían abierto. Dicho is the irregular past participle for decir. Escrito for escribir. Muerto. Resolver, to resolve. Resolved will be resuelto. We found out that they hadn't resolved their problem. No habían resuelto. Visto, like the example that you did above, from ver, so seen. Cubrir is to cover, so covered, cubierto. Descubierto, discovered. The Spaniards had discovered the New World through Christopher Columbus. Hacer, to make or to do, hecho, so had made, had done. Poner, puesto. I didn't realize that she had put something there before she left. Romper, roto. They didn't know that we had broken our legs. Volver, vuelto. There are some verbs as well that are spelling change verbs. And these are the usual verbs that were irregular before because of spelling changes. So verbs that end in AER, EER, and also the verb oír, to hear, have an accent on the I of ido. If it wasn't there, you'd say huido. It would form a diphthong. Those two vowels would blend together. So they want you to say oído. And instead of laido, leído. Traído. Caído as opposed to caído. Caído. And once again, these, even though they are irregular, need to go with a form of haber. So they can't just stand on their own. They can't do the work of a verb by themselves. I wasn't excited to read that book because I had already read it. Ya lo había leído.